So I have a question about the focus, the object, I guess. And it seems to me like before I started studying with you, was taking the focus, on sensations and then I found that occasionally, every once in a while, I would go into a deeper state of concentrate or meditation, or it felt like an absorption to me, but not a jhana, but some sort where I would actually drop down off of that, and I would be focused in the chest, and I'd be like, there'd be the difference between observing the sensations and actually being kind of the breath. And so some of the things I've heard you say before is that, when you feel like you've gotten into a place, look at how you did it so you could reproduce it. On the other hand, I don't, the question is if I'm trying to reproduce something that's not, like if I don't have the training, the skills at the lower level yet. So that's what I'm kind of wondering. It's like, where should I be, would it be better for me to stay focused on the sensations and really work on what seems like observing sensations, or try to replicate this sensation of becoming one with the sensations or one with the breath?
Well,
level 4.
Right. See. Well, maybe we could put the question differently. Is it better to stay with the sensations of the breath until you can enter into an absorption with them, or to see if you can replicate this other kind of absorption that you sort of stumbled across and you have experienced before it happened, without really knowing that it was going to happen, or without intending to? Well, first of all, we need to look at the state you entered into and determine what its relative value is. You can enter into absorptions with things by accident, and you can learn to do it deliberately. If you enter into absorption with something while there's still a lot of other stuff going on in your mind, some of that other stuff is going to boot you out of the absorption. Okay?
Yeah, I can get in pretty easy and I just come right back out.
Right.
Like I used to, the first couple of times, I was just there, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, and in fact, if you enter into an absorption with the sensations of the breath before your mind is adequately trained, while you're in that absorption, almost any thought or emotion or whatever can come along and grab hold of you, because you're very vulnerable at that time. And so you would look at that and say, okay, this might be worth experiencing from time to time, but not necessarily primary focus. A primary focus would be developing the skills so that I can do the same thing, but remain in that absorption and actually work with that absorption and do something productive with it. So rather than saying either or, either I only do it this way or only do it that way, my suggestion is you predominantly work on developing the skills and the stability of mind, but not that you neglect totally this ability to enter into a short-term absorption that you've come across. Go ahead and do that from time to time. Just refresh your memory to what it was about and allow your mind to, because your mind is the ultimately trainable thing in the universe. And so anything you do with it, it learns to do it again in the future. So if you practice entering into this absorption you stumbled across, it's only going to make it easier to do in the future when you're capable of doing more with it. The other thing, though, to carefully evaluate about this absorption is that if we enter into a state of dullness, then it becomes very easy to become absorbed. And this is not a good absorption. The same thing applies. If you enter into dull absorptions, the mind gets used to that, And
He
in the
likes
future,
it.
whenever you want to enter into absorption, or whenever you enter into strong concentration, your mind's going to want to go to that nice, comfy, dull, warm place that it discovered. So if you look at it, and if that's what it is, if there's a lot of dullness in it, then you're better off staying away from it and not repeating it, and instead learning to enter into an absorption where you're just totally awake and aware.